Here we go with another episode of the SureWin and the Learn Something podcast with your host here, Sherwin LernSumthn, and your host there, Blu Baker. Whoop, whoop. Man, hey, while you tapping in with us, make sure you like and go subscribe and follow. The way we stay bringing you this content and conversation is if you subscribe and you follow. Thank you so much. So, hey, bro, good morning. Good morning.
Morning, fam.
Hey, how you been?
I've been pretty good, man. Can't complain. What about you?
All is well, bro. All is well. A little moving a little slow this morning, but
Understood.
all is well, man.
Understood. Hey. How'd your what was Saturday? How your Saturday go?
Saturday went good.
This past Saturday.
Saturday went good. What was we talked Saturday?
I thought you got. Did we get up Saturday?
Oh yeah.
I just asking. Did we get up?
Hey, bro. You got. All right. So we saw the pool game, and that's what we do. Like in our kind of like on our downtime, have a little competitive, little nature, little billiards.
That's what it was. No,
he got a couple in, but I wasn't focused on that game. So 1 for 2 is where we win. But I give you that. You got one in on me.
I understand.
Man, we got a lot to talk about today, bro.
Absolutely.
So, man, we're gonna get right to it. Got a lot to unpack. I do want to just take a pause for the cause and just, man, show gratitude, bro. You know?
Yeah.
Number one, I'm just thankful for this, man. Just be standing vertical.
Hey, man, to be here.
Yes, sir.
To this year.
And I think I'm thankful for just the opportunity to be able to, once again, man, do this alongside with you, bro. But also at the same time, we have an opportunity to share conversations and knowledge about things that we talked about for years and years and what helped us to continue to grow and sharpen each other's iron. Yeah, so that's what this is about, man. For me, man, is just showing gratitude in regards to that and my family, work-life situation, business, all that's been good. And you know, also, man, showing gratitude to, I want to give a shout out to Reverend March, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Remember him?
Mm-hmm. Reverend March, absolutely.
Reverend March proposed a question on this past Sunday service.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, are you pleased with yourself? Ask yourself that question. Are you pleased with yourself? And it made me think about that question alone, looking and reflecting on myself, but also it had me looking at the results. Like, am I pleased with my results? Am I pleased with my work life? Am I pleased with my relationships? Am I pleased with my family life? Am I pleased with how I am giving to my community? Right? All those things, man, I propose, I say opening the Pandora's box for a lot more questions to ask myself. So it's not just that one, but I think that is the overall arching question. If you are pleased with yourself, I think you can say that, okay, I'm doing these different things that I could be pleased.
Yeah, you know, that's a very, 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 very good question. And, you know, I'll have to ask myself, and it's crazy because I'll just write a couple words down here, some buzzwords. And, you know, we mentioned perspective one time. And, you know, perspective is a view, how you see things, which typically stems from your mindset, you know, how you want to view things. So a lot of times we consider this, and, you know, I'm going to say generally speaking, are you a pessimist versus an optimist? What does that simply mean? When you have a situation happens, do you veer to think of the worst possible case scenario majority of the time or the best case scenario one time? Right. Not saying that you will never address both, but what is your first nature? And that's why I say, because a lot of times people think pessimist means, or is a negative word. It's not. It's just that you want to look at I'm going to say the more dire side of a situation first, versus the possibilities of the potential of a situation.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And it goes to the question, thinking about the mindset and just how you look at things overall. Do you consider yourself perfect? Because if you can answer that question first, then the question he answered, which is, understand, it's a preferential question because it says please. So that means, you know, you could be content with being where you're at, even though you're not going anywhere. And what is that? That would describe somebody, unfortunately, when we see somebody with a lack of motivation. because they could be pleased with themselves, but we could all see that they're not living up to their potential, right? When kids are our primary, we realize that we see potential all the way in them. And then what happens is that they do things. It's kind of like, man, put your heart into it because you see what they could do, but they're pleased where they're at.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that's a good one. So like I said, please means preference.
But also, as you're saying, the potential,
Yeah.
is that a breeding ground for mediocrity?
I mean, I go back to the original question. And not the original question, because are you pleased with yourself is the original question.
Some people are pleased what we perspective see as mediocre.
But do you see yourself?
So see, they might be on the top of the moon.
Do you see yourself already in a light of perfection? I mean, because if you do that, you it's gonna be hard for you probably to want to improve, right?
Learn anything.
Yeah, you probably gonna get caught in a level of mediocrity. I mean, you always should be striving for something. I mean, even if it's minor, and that could just be, hey, I'm gonna do a better job of calling my mom. Which, mom, I got you. I got you. I got you. Something's like, it ain't got to be life changing. Every single time. Absolutely. Shout out. Be well. Absolutely. That's a great question, man. He spoke on that Sunday.
So, yeah. Well, and that was an insert that he made, during the service itself. But man, this even referencing what PR talked about, Pastor Ramsey. It was aligning with the SureWin and the LernSumthn process, because it was like, how do you overcome your battles? And you have to have certain tools. You have to learn something, right, in order to get to that win or to get to overcome that battle. And of course, there was a combination of different things.
Oh, for sure.
Of what you can use to do to overcome those battles, but it's the same thing, man. We all dealing with battles, or we all dealing with something that we're trying to learn to produce a different outcome. And hopefully that outcome is something that's on the positive side.
Yes.
So, man, this alignment things, man, is just kind of like, I wanted to share that with you. And share it with everyone else, because I think we all are looking at ways to overcome things that are in our journey itself. Resistances, the challenges, the battles to get to that win, bro. Gotcha.
And most of us are striving for something. So, obviously, are you pleased with yourself? And I say please as being a preference, right? Because, sometimes we do lie to ourselves, right?
Correct.
We will lie to ourselves. And we will, now go into what you just mentioned, we'll look at things and we'll downplay them to a degree to where it's kind of like, that this is really a challenge or a battle or obstacle.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know how to face it, or I don't know what to do to overcome.
Yeah.
Things we share on this podcast, and kind of as we just mentioned some everyday scenarios, that's kind of what we hope to share some light on. Does anyone have all the answers? Absolutely not, except one person, and I was actually jumping the gun because I was thinking about him already. My man Jesus, he has all the answers, but as far as us and how we don't. It's just too many infinite things that can possibly happen. And I use this analogy all the time. When you show up to work, I understand. Let's just say you work in a regular, normal business. We're going to give it a number just so we can look at it statistically. And you got about 15 people you work with. Prior to you, in most cases, prior to you working at that job, you didn't know those 15 people. So somehow you all are now on a common goal, right? To do whatever production is at that business to hit a metrics.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't know each other before. So that means everybody's path to get to this job, their reasoning for why they accepted this job, are different.
Yeah.
Right. Even though we're on one page today, how we got to this page is different. And that tells me that we all can end up in the same boat at some point, but get there on different accords. And that's just a mindset, because you got to keep that in perspective when you're talking to somebody. Even though me and you're doing the same thing right now in this podcast, our reasons could be different, because how we got to this part in our journey is different, right? So what's driving and motivating us is also different. But that goes into, because we have a difference, is that wrong?
No.
Right. Because you have some situations where the only reason I want to do this podcast with you is if I'm doing it for your reasons.
And we have differences all the time. I had a difference with you yesterday, bro. Hell, you see what I'm saying?
All the time.
And you know, I'm gonna stand on mine.
And
what my difference is, you gonna stand.
And I'm gonna stand on mine.
You're gonna find the line in between.
There you go.
It's me, right? Hey, okay, all right, we can agree to disagree, man. And that's what it's all about at the time.
Open mindset, man.
And that's the problem that's even right now that we as a country are facing, because we have a know-it-all that sits in a position, and there is no agree to disagree. It's my way, how I want to do it. You know, we're doing it this way, and we're winning doing it that way.
That's
And just in light of that, bro, just how do you feel about the sentiment of just this whole war thing, man? It's affecting a lot.
So, if you know me, I'm a money guy. I often tell people that if you want to know what's going on, follow the money. Money is typically the driver for why a lot of decisions are being made. Now, you know, this war that we got going on, it's the same boat. First of all, you got to understand the craziest part of it about it is that, you know, economies actually thrive in war type situations. People would think the opposite, but what happens is all this manufacturing for the war is additional manufacturing that wouldn't have been happening during peace times. So what happens, you see like companies like Lockheed Martin or Booz Allen, all these defensive type companies getting these contracts and money feeding through the door, and them wheels be turning. Right, revenue, right. There's money made in wars. You know, this whole going after, you know, and wars are for interest. I had to keep it a buck.
Yeah.
What we are trying to protect interests over there in the Middle East, I think we all kind of already know. Obviously we got troops on the ground now. I think we sent some air troopers over there. Yeah. So we got troops on the ground now, which means, you know, casualty of life from a
1,000
American perspective, it could be on the line. And the question I think most people would just want to know is why? Because we've had other wars that we went over there, and trust me, we got tossed up. And we all look at back all the casualties on the losses, and for what? So, you know, that's such a, and it depends on which side of the fence you're on. And once again, perspective, I look at it from a money side, like it's a money grab. It's a money grab. We got potential. We got interest over there. We got to protect it. This is the U.S. is known for. We go in, we protect our interests. If you have no interest in your country, typically U.S. is not going to be over there.
Hey, man, do you go fight somebody who has nothing to lose?
Oof. That's a dangerous opponent.
It's a dangerous opponent.
That's a dangerous opponent.
Because they bombing everything around them, man. You know, that has any U.S. attachment or, you know, any interest that U.S. has in it.
Our culture in the U.S. is preservation of life. And what I mean, we want to enjoy life. We want to have that time in life. We want to understand. So, you know, that the ideology of I will just give my life up for whatever, it's not something that we're taught in school. Okay, we're just not taught that in school. Now, I'm not sure what's going on over there, and hey, how you got to breathe somebody, be like, hey, I'm going to tie this bond to you when you about 16, 17, I want you to go run and give it all up.
Yeah.
I can see right now, my son, it's going to be hard to convince him of doing that. He going to be like, why?
Is that?
What did he do to me? Matter of fact, I think he got a PS5. I was about to go play online with him.
Well, you know they opened up the age range for prior service members
to what?
42.
What? Hey, well,
did you know that? And I'm
not gonna tell my age, but I'm good. I'm good.
Are you strapping back up?
Good.
Put the hell back on, bro.
I'm good.
Come on, man. Just imagine the ones who are in that age range, right? In that group. Man, this is like 20 plus years ago that they probably did service, bro.
And shout out to all our veterans.
They started service.
Shout out to all our veterans,
man. Yes, I got a daughter serving right now, so you know, most definitely.
Yeah, nah, that's crazy. I did not, because you know what it was? It was like 30 something back in the day.
4?
Something like that. Yeah, something like
Yeah.
34, 35 back in the day. So 40 too. And because they need them expertise.
Yes.
Right. They got to pull them expertise back
And
in.
that goes back to that generation.
That says you might be getting serious then.
Hey, they need somebody to navigate
Ooh.
that landscape, bro.
Ooh.
And that's exactly what they pointed out, is that they need the experience. So just imagine the G-Watt era, the global war on terrorism era. Those guys.
What you thinking? Why you think we over there?
Yeah, man, it's the interest of, man, that Strait of Hormuz, bro. I mean, I read that Iran was not charging anyone to passageway through the Straits of Hormuz when this war started at all in the history of it. Like, you have other, like, Suez Canal, yeah, other passageways, the Panama, where they charge, you know, anywhere from 100,000 to about 500,000 for different types of ships and cargo coming through.
Yep.
Straits of Hormuz, it wasn't that way. But because of this war, they have imposed a $2 million per ship passageway through.
So basically, right now, and obviously on the news, this is why we trying to open. We just gave them 10 days to reopen the strait. So I'm assuming the reason when we say reopen, we really mean go back to free.
Basically,
the money. So basically, we go back to free.
That's your money, man.
That is interesting. I don't know, because you know I need to circumvent, and I hadn't done it prior to, but we might get a chance before we get off here. I need to look at the countries that we're picking on, because they seem to all be OPEC related. I'm not saying I understand. If you know who OPEC is, that's kind of where when we start determining the oil prices, your gasoline prices, stuff like that. Yeah, you'll hear the name OPEC.
Yeah.
And a lot of these countries I thought might have been in that. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to go take a look to see what countries that we're picking on right now and what their relation is to OPEC, because I wonder, would that have something to do with it? And then, if I could, I want to add this one other fact. Then now, don't get confused, because I know every time these gas prices go up and all that, and you hear OPEC and they buy it. Right, just let me help somebody out for a minute now. You need to go research whether or not the U.S. has its own actual oil reserves. So the question would be and let me put this in perspective. If you have a chicken coop, and that means you got chickens and eggs, right? Are you worried that if the supplier of chicken and eggs increase their prices, if you yourself grow chickens and have eggs? Like, would the cost of chicken in the grocery store, the cost of eggs in the grocery store impact you if you actually make or grow your own chickens and your own eggs?
I might run out, bro.
So the answer to that is no.
I might run out of chicken eggs, so I will be concerned.
Well, no, I mean, you're growing them. So, I mean, you're growing them consistently. You're not growing at one time.
What if they got more than I got?
Okay, cool. So for the sake of the conversation.
Okay.
You're growing your eggs, and you've been growing your eggs for the last 10 years. So you're a chicken farmer. Yeah. Okay, so if you're a chicken farmer, and then the cost of chicken and eggs go up in the store, does that impact you?
No.
Right, because you have your own supply.
Correct.
Right. So let me ask you this. Demand, right, supply and demand. So they say they about to cut off the oil, they about to stop the barrels, they about to stop production. Well, automatically hits the news, prices of gas, hey, better go get to the gas tank, because the price is about to see come up. But we have our own oil.
But why do we want to control the other 25% of the world's oil?
That's a great question.
Huh? I can tell you a theory.
That's a great question.
We went and captured the Venezuelan oil.
They have the most reserves, everybody. Just FYI, they have the most reserves.
But they're not serving 25% of the world's oil, right? But there's a difference in the Venezuelan oil versus the oil that is in the Middle East. The refining process takes longer with the Venezuelan oil than it does for the oil that's in the Middle East.
Is that due to technology advancements, or is it just because
that's just due to natural resource
from?
Yeah, it's a much thicker oil than it is in the Middle East. So the refining of it takes longer. Then it takes longer for distribution, right? So one thing you have to understand about crude oil is that when it is refined, you know, it makes all these different gases that are used in so many different processes. And that's from our regular gas in the tank, our kerosene, our diesel, the gasoline that they use to actually put in plastics. But so that refining process is a whole lot easier with the oil that's in the Middle East.
See, now that's interesting.
Yeah.
Once again, back to the money. You got follow that money, man.
Money and efficiency, man.
Follow that money. But that's an interesting question, though. We got our own oil. Why is our oil prices seem to always be spiking every time somebody in the Middle East is doing something? You know, just a question. You know, anybody who wants to give us an answer, please, you know, comment, share with us. Maybe you got a perspective on it, because I would love to know, you know, what's the interest in this war.
Got it. So have you ever dealt with a bully? Are we bullies? Is 50 Cent a bully or is T.I. a bully? All of them bullies.
My man T.I. is not a bully. My man T.I. is a Libra. He could never be a bully.
Okay. Hey.
He's not a bully. But nah, you know, that's interesting. Have you been following that whole little squamish? Because anybody who's a 90s, 2000 person, you got to be ear to the ground for just one. I mean, what happened? Because I think with 50, we had the verses. They were supposed to do a verses.
Supposed to do verses.
That's what it was.
So let me ask you something, because I had to kind of side. I understand T.I. perspective of, hey man, let's do this verses, right? And then 50, you know, was like, hey,
do this for us though. Could you kind of tell us the breakdown of what they got in just so?
Yeah, so I mean, it was the verses. Supposed to happen, but when T.I. wanted to happen, the confirmation of saying we're gonna do it was like 2 or 3 years prior. Things change. So, but unless you, but he had to drop a new song on a new album, right? That right there gave it some momentum, right? And I mean, the song is hot. Most definitely, let them know it's hot, right? But when that happened, of course, man, you antagonizing, because you're saying to 50 across all different platforms that, hey, I'm the best, or I got the better verses, or my catalog is better than that, and then so you are poking the bear, so to speak. So 50 responds, you know, with a picture of the man's wife, and then that's when everything broke loose, bro. Sons get involved.
Shout out.
You know what I'm saying? And man, they're just going in. And so it's just been a back and forth, bro. But I think it's all, both of them guys are, as we've been following with T.I. in the past month or so, man, he knows this social media algorithm game, right? And so that song along, and then with the controversy between him and 50, 50 has always said, man, they always create controversy. He about to drop a new show, all that good stuff. But I always say this right here, is that T.I. he always projected like, hey, I don't play about X, Y, Z, or disrespect, blah, 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 blah. But 50 don't care about that, right?
Right.
But I always say that if 50 had anybody who's going to neutralize him, it would have been T.I.
I think Tip can do it. Yeah, man. You know, I might be a little biased on this one. You know, I think T.I.'s my guy. No, I obviously used to rock 52 back in the day. When he first came out,
They dropped that same year too.
There wasn't nobody touching it. Oh, you know, it's because I remember in the apartment so well, just back and forth between both of them, man. Back in the day, like I said, when 50 came onto the scene, he came like an explosion. Obviously, being in the South, T.I.'s presence was strong. We just obviously got then introduced to the 50. 50 came through. Well, I would say long term, I think it's been 50's other projects that's made him still relevant today. Like he turned that situation, which is He turned that situation into the other stuff, like those who follow power or those w'ho've heard of power. Obviously, if you follow
Power
it, you know
University.
who is it. But obviously, if you had it or you don't follow it, power, that's his thing. So he has like, different shows, different movies, television. I think he has like
It's on television
network.
And he bought an actual studio, man, in Louisiana. Yes.
So to see what he's done
Yeah.
with that and taking into now, obviously 2026. T.I.'s obviously done the same thing. He's been an actor. He's been in it. Obviously, lyrically, I think, and I don't know who's dropped more albums. I would say T.I. has. I got to do the math. But I think T.I. has. So I think from a lyrical standpoint, or not even a lyrical standpoint, a musical standpoint, T.I.'s been, I'm going to say, more relevant musically over the last couple of decades because he's been doing music.
Let me ask you a question. Who's your top 5 rappers then, Blue? Who's your top 5 rappers, bro?
T.I. is definitely in the top 5. He's top 5. My top 5 has probably changed though because my listening has it's changed a little bit. And let me say this: when all these guys came out, we were all young. I mean, we were all the same. Like we were in our early 20s, and even when you listen to them, they would tell you what they thought then versus now is different. As an adult, how I felt and what I listened to then and versus what I was.
You gonna answer the question, man? Are you gonna jump a line ago? What you doing, bro? All right.
I'd have to go in. I don't know, man. That's a good one. What's your top 5? I'd have to think about it.
You reverse a question on me.
I want to see what you got to say. I'm that guy. Still don't answer that. Now I might have forgot about them. But I guess they wouldn't be my top 5 if I forgot about them.
My top 5, and this is in no particular order, right? Tip, T.I.
I think T's top.
Right.
T.I.'s top 5.
Big Crit. Biggie. All right. Man, I want to put him in this is because he's just so prolific, man, lyrically, but it just hadn't put a lot of work in, man. But I got to put Andre in that 3 Stacks, right? And then number 5. I'm such a down south guy, man. It's crazy. Jeezy.
So Jeezy was gonna be another one I probably put top 5. I think he held his ground.
Ross is around there in that 6, 7-ish, or he could be in that top 5. I interchange Andre out for him, but just because Andre's body of work, but his body of work is so good, you know what I mean? But
and then you got the newbies, and he's not a newbie, but he's in there. I mean, you have to throw a J. Cole in there.
Yeah.
And I understand, hey, you got to throw Lil Wayne in there. Yeah, you gonna have to throw. You gonna have to throw Kendrick in there. It's you to give top 5. But then you got to talk about the legends. So then you want to talk about your legends. Those are gonna be like your KRS-Ones, right? Your Big Daddy Kanes, the ones that set it down. You know what I'm saying? For ladies, your Salt and Peppers, right? Back in the ones where you get to now, right? It had to happen. Right, so you got so many, you got like top 5 legends, which be like who influenced.
Well, man,
by current.
It's a lot of different lanes that we can go with it.
But
those are the top 5 that I'm actually listening to right now.
You still listening to Biggie?
Yeah. Oh, that's on the rotation heavily.
Oh.
Yeah. I listen to all genres of music, man. Number 1, but if we're talking about rap, man, that's all 5 of those.
I mean, you have Jay-Z in there. No, it's a lie. We've been a long round, Jay-Z, man.
You've been a Jay-Z fan.
Yeah, I'm about to say, so you got to throw. I want to say the top 5, and see the reason I wouldn't put Jay in there right now is just because he's not dropping music. Right, the G dropped music when back in the day, and now he's doing other stuff. You see what I'm saying?
So seeing I can pull some of the newer artists in, right? But man, I don't appeal really to a lot of the music. I listen to Kendrick here and there. J. Cole here and there. But man, it's just so much context that has been in some of the ones I named. Yeah. And bro, it's still relevant, bro.
So and then you understand, we came up in the 2000s. So so for anybody think I'm talking about 2006.
Oh, yes, my son that.
So you talking about little oh yeah.
It's my 21-year-old son.
Is that right there?
You ask my 21-year-old son now.
Man.
Yeah, you ask Julia.
To the wall. That stuff. You know, you got them type, man. Hey, man, I don't know. You know.
Man, you can't even give me no answer, man.
I can't.
God.
I tap out.
All right.
I tap.
What's next, bro? What's next? What's next, man? What we talking about next, bro?
Man, so, you know, we were talking briefly about the CSRA. So recently we just here in the area we have what they call it, DUI enforcement.
Yeah.
And I'm saying now we definitely do not promote
drinking
under the influence. So definitely
anything under the influence.
Because DUI isn't just for alcoholic beverages, it also does include drugs. Okay. So understand, if you're getting high and you're driving, you could get a DUI. So we had what they call it, DUI crackdown or DUI?
DUI crackdown. They do it from time to time in the area.
Yeah.
There are all these agencies come together and they set up
about the money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ticket money.
Yeah. DUI money. All right. And these agencies, they collaborate and they let you know. Called social media. The word is spread. There will be checkpoints across the entire area, across the entire city.
Hey, I got.
Bro, people still getting locked up, man. I understand it.
I got a even better question. So we had the DUI checkpoint. They have a couple of these, and we got some statistics that are just a little bit kind of interesting about this. So if you're in the local area, but check this out. I got a question for you.
What's up, man?
So we have a DUI checkpoint. Naturally, is to stop offenders from breaking the law. Naturally, because obviously when you're impaired, you could definitely hurt somebody. And that's obviously what we want to prevent. So I got a question, and it's just a question. Is the DUI, you know, the protection day or whatever day it is, the checkpoint day.
Yeah, checkpoint day, man.
Is this for protection? Okay, you know, so maybe I'll put my question in there. Is this for protection, or is this for profit? I knew that was a question.
We can't have both.
That was a question. Oh, it's for both.
They can't have both. Somebody online called me a clown because I said, just stay home.
But nah, you better.
Stay home.
You better. Hey, you've been through enough roads. You know to stay home.
And he like, hey, well, just be legal. Yeah. Both ways.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, if we most definitely say if you are a person who gonna drink and drive, or gonna have a drink and then drive, man, get you an Uber, get a family member to come get you. All right, or just stay home and do your thing at the house. You can't nobody bother you there, right?
Got options.
Because DUI automatically off top, a DUI, $10K, a minimum, $10K. And so here goes some numbers for you, all right?
All right, man. What them numbers look like?
Open container violations 1, seatbelt violations 9, child restraint violations 7, 8 DUI arrests. That's 80,000 at least.
Mm-hmm.
All right, driving with suspended license. There goes some more fines and fees, reinstatement fees, right? Suspended registration, other citations. I don't know what that is. 22 of those. Driving on a suspended license, 14.
Hold up. The biggest number, 22, is other?
Other.
That's how you dress it up. We don't want to let you know what it is.
Did we see something on that other?
22, oh yeah.
Misdemeanor drug charges, 1. Felony drug charges, 1. Distracted driving, 1. Warning issues, 14. Total citations issued, 65. Total arrests, 8. And 7 K9 deployments.
Stay home.
Stay home.
Well, let me ask you. You be legal.
Be legal.
Or stay home.
Yeah, stay home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do we so Georgia and I believe South Carolina just are putting certain restaurants and bars, they're holding them accountable for the amount of drinks that they are able to serve. They're going through some level, some training that has to deal with alcohol serving, and that's supposed to mitigate or reduce the amount of DUIs as well as DUI fatalities and deaths and things of that nature, because a lot of these DUIs are happening after they leave either restaurants or bars at that. So how do you see that affecting the revenue?
I mean, we ain't got to cut people off. So when we think about it, that's all that's happening is. So basically, when you at a bar, right, you having your drinks, and I think we all, if you're a drinker, and I had that night to where you might have had one too many, right? So that means before you left the bar, you done got completely towed up. Now the question is that they're proposing now is, should the club itself or the bar itself, restaurant itself, bartender, because that's really you putting it on, is should they be cutting you off before you get to that point? To me, that's a lot of burden to put on one individual who's going to serve, or a restaurant that's going to cater to 100+ individuals, to know what their individual limit is, what they drank before they even got here. Right. They might have been completely saturated before they got here. You serve them, they want to. That's just a tilt point. Yep. Now what? How do you know where it happened at? I get it. I do think there's a sense of, you should have a sense of, I'm going to say, ethical code, or, hey, give me that last drink, and then, hey, you know what, Mr. Bob, hey, boy, I think this year, let me let this one, bro. Let me give you this free water. Call. Yeah, let me give you this free water. So I do think if you visibly can see somebody kind of, stumbling around, it look like they ain't quite coherent. I mean, do your due diligence, and maybe you should sit down. And then not serve. But I do think to make it in some type of law or reg, I think that's an extreme, because I think the responsibility still has to go back on the person. One reason is we can't treat, if you're 21, you're grown. And what I mean by that is we can't hold your hand. Like, you got to have self-control to know that when you out and about, not to completely get towed down. So that way you're now infunctional, understanding. Sometimes what happens, we become a problem to society. What is that? You being very loud, you might be obnoxious, because everybody who get loose, they don't get loose and be nice. They get wild with it. Right. You got to be able to control that. Yeah. And I think that babysitting, no. You need to know when you go out, 1-2 drinks is your limit. Yeah. I understand. Don't be looking over there because you see him with what's your limit? Your body's and your height, body weight, and all that stuff matters. So don't be thinking that you about to just go toe-to-toe with folks. No. You need to know your particular limit. And I just think you should put it back on the person. We're grown. We'll say we're grown about every other thing. So why, when we make bad choices, we can't be grown too?
And just know, man, like, hey, they're giving you the answers to the test before they actually get the test, all right? It was, the news was posted. Yeah. Like, hey, there'll be checkpoints. Yeah. Man, you gotta believe that when you see it. Yeah. Don't think that you are that person who can just get around it, or
I'm gonna take the back road.
Want to get stopped.
I'm gonna take the back roads.
That'd be the mindset, right? Hey, because when you have these these are extreme situations, man, where you're getting DUIs, or any other criminal thing in this city, and the cities that are adjacent, the Columbia counties, the Richmond counties, wherever, right?
All right.
Like, when you get to stand in front of that judge and they are giving you whatever arraignment, or giving you a sentence or whatever, they are looking at your overall history, but they're also looking at the actual crime itself as well. Because I just recently saw a lot of people get banished from the particular county that they were in.
No, when you
banished,
you say banished, I'm thinking like a TV show. When you say banished, you mean like cannot come back, cannot return?
Unless that judge revisits your history or your situation in that moment that proceeds when he made that ruling, he has to revisit and reevaluate whether or not he wants to allow you to come back into, I would say, his county or that county.
So it's county based.
Yes.
Based off of the county.
Yes, based off the county. So that at that local level of judicial court system, that judge has the right, I would say, in the state of Georgia, to banish you from that county, and that will be indefinitely until you either appeal to why you can come back, and then they will actually review it at that time.
So is that meaning no work, obviously, but you can't go to Walmart?
Hey,
can you drive through the city if that's the case? If you banish?
I read some white papers, bro, that a guy in Georgia lived, worked, slept, ate, recreation, whatever, all that in that county. His wife worked in the county.
Well, if you own a house in that county,
hey,
gotta sell it? Or, I mean, you might gotta sell it, but I guess that is interesting.
And so that's probably why when I heard this, the question was asked, hey, do you have any ties to this county when they were actually.
So they got to ask you that.
Yeah. Whether or not he's going to determine whether or not you're going to stay or not. I mean,
so this is by discretion also. So let me ask you, is
that a lot of autonomy to have?
So if coincidentally, I'm just throwing it out there, I own a strip mall with a couple of stores.
I'm not banishing you, Blue. All right.
I don't know.
But the guy who got the THC charge.
So he got banished for having a THC.
I'm just giving an example. I'm just giving an example of a guy who got a THC charge or somebody who shoplift. You know, I might be thinking in my mind that, well, you're not a property owner here, all right? Because if you were, you probably wouldn't be doing these things. As far as the shoplifting,
right?
Because there are many property owners that probably do THC, allegedly, possibly. But
don't be SBA.
You know, but if I'm thinking like, am I protecting the interests of my county, my city, the citizens, right? That I may say, hey, you know what? You can stay, but you over there, you got to go. All right, and man, and I'll say this, that some of these banishments are for protecting victims as well. All right, let me not point out that they're just doing banishment because it's just fun or because they having a bad day. Sometimes it is protected to the victims that are within that county.
You are at court when this is being done, so you are being tried for something.
Yeah.
So it's not So banishment is coming because you are facing some type of decision based off of behavior. Okay, so now feel about that, huh? Doesn't that sound? Oh, look, we gonna talk to that girl. Yeah, doesn't that sound like a night movie back in the day when they be like, we banish you from the council. There you go. You know what I mean? Like, banishment. That's like some old school stuff where you can't come back.
Yeah, you can't come back until they review.
Then they banished Simba. No, he left. No, he left. He left on his own. He left on.
Yeah, he did.
My bad.
Man, he's Simba out of this, man.
He was acting like he was in banishment.
But no, man, that just, man, goes back, man. Hey, man, now that you got some new information, man, just be careful with your steps. Because if you get in front of that judge, man, they have the discretion, at least with that thing. Yeah, the judicial system is what it is, right? But conditions a lot of times of what your sentencing or your probation is, man, that banishment could be very much a part of it. And just imagine how putting yourself at risk, how does that impact the rest of your actual life or what you currently got going on, all because of some, common mistake or a bad choice.
Yeah.
All right.
That's deep, man.
That's deep.
That's deep. You know, I got a real good question for you.
Okay.
And it's about AI. Have you seen the movie Terminator?
Yeah.
You know,
a long time ago, but
a long time ago.
But they made it.
Are you old?
Terminator?
Is that meaning that you're old? What year Terminator came out? Just give a roundabout.
97.
Like in the 60s?
97.
You sure?
I don't know.
You saw the movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know what time it came out. Was it in the 60s?
Look it up and see.
I'm just saying, you was in the 60s, what?
Man, I was not in the 60s.
I just saying what you are. I'm just checking, man. I'm just checking. You got a birthday coming up, though.
Yeah.
What we doing for your birthday?
Man, that remains to be seen. Yep.
That's what's up.
You know how we do it.
I know. So check it out. So Terminator.
Yeah.
So for those, and I'm saying they've had like 10 renditions of Terminator.
Right.
Terminator was a point in time where you got a robot. Arnold Schwarzenegger played the Terminator. He comes back into time because basically he has to prevent a futuristic war where machine takes over the world. Right. So basically the machine goes against humanity, takes over the world. Now, why do I bring this up? Now, this movie, I believe, was made in the 80s. I believe 84. Thank you. 84.
84.
So here we are about almost 20, 40 years later.
Yeah.
About 40 years later.
Yeah.
From the first one. And the ideology of it was...
This is 4?
Yeah. The very first one actually came out in 84. Like, we were little. Yeah, we were little when that came out. We probably didn't watch it.
Yeah.
The first one that very first came out, it was like a couple of years later when our parents let us watch it. Right. So basically technology, you got machine, took over the world, and we got to fight to take it back. In the future, humanity does win. So thus we got a movie where humanity sends back a robot, i.e. the Terminator, i.e. Arnold Schwarzenegger, in the time to protect these humans that will eventually help them win the war against machines later. So let's talk about AI. 2 things. Robotics. Anybody who was in the car factory, plant factories, stuff like in manufacturing period knows about robotics. Reason being is it's taking a lot of jobs. Matter of fact, you might have seen in some of the fast food restaurants to where they got robotics now replacing people in the fries.
Yep.
So robotics.
Miso.
That's when we think about robotics, let's think about that being the hardware, right? That's the hardware. So now we've introduced, my point, AI, which would be the software. So you giving them, just like you got a body, you got a mind. That you need both of these things to work and function to do something. You ever heard brain dead? Right. That means that basically if this ain't moving but your body's still functioning, you can't do nothing. Right. Opposite. If in the event that this doesn't work and you just got a mind, you're not doing anything. So you need both of them to work in tandem. Robotics. So we got the physical component, hardware. Now we've given them AI. So now we've given them the brain.
Yep.
So they got the body and they got the brain. Now, a lot of evolution, we'll think about time passing. Over the course of time, a lot of things have been built off of, I'm going to say, subjugating a class, a demographic, and then eventually this demographic wants their equality. And we've seen it in multitudes of different ways. They want their equality. They don't want to be treated in subjugation anymore. They want to be equals. Hypothetical. Now they can think for you. You know, when you're talking to your phone and all this good stuff, they'll talk back. You got Alexa talking back. Right. So you got Siri, Gemini. Right.
Yeah.
Their whole purpose there is to figure you out to where you could ask them to be you for a second and they will give you, based off of the content and you talking to them, exactly what you would do.
And yep. Go ahead.
So they're learning.
Absolutely.
Understand? So this ain't like your Nintendo that all it could do is what it did. No.
Yeah.
It is all just like you. It's now learning. So let's think about the first AI like when you're a toddler. Basic functionalities. You just know how to walk and barely talk. By the time you get to elementary school, right, when we hit a second level, right, now we can write sentences and paragraphs. This is like the next level of AI. So now you just had AI that was stuck. Now you got AI that can move, meaning that it's intuitive, meaning that it's constantly learning and growing.
Yes.
Now, the difference between you and I, we get old.
Yeah.
What happens to most of our elderly folks? They start to forget. So you can't retain and hold information like a robot or computer that will only get smarter. In 40 years, they're just going to be smarter. Right? We're going to be old and probably ready to retire. Right. So they just keep going with it. Do you think we could be at a point like in the Terminator movie, foreshadowing, possibly, to where they no longer want to be subjugated. They want to be equals. They can think like you. They can talk like you. Right. They got the hardware like you.
Yeah. I think, man, that's the scary part of this, man, is that it's the unknown of knowing if, as these learning machines are, this software is learning you, learning how you think, learning your emotions. Because I talk to Gemini quite frequently, and Gemini can cross collaborate different ideas, different topics, and make it all make sense. And so I've seen it firsthand because I use it in a lot of the business and work situations that I'm trying to streamline or make things more efficient. So I think when something learns you, when it learns you, you got to think about that's just at a micro level. But when you're looking at the macro of it, and when they learn how to certain processes and how certain systems work, they learn how governments can control X, Y, Z, this, or how just how things are run. It can take on its own identity, man, and it can take on its own push forward to be supreme, I would say, in that situation.
You know, man.
That's the unknown, man. That's the X factor. And I'll point this right here out. The Pentagon was using a certain company's software in a lot of the AI systems that they use. And they requested an IP, the intellectual property of their AI, to go use in automation of missiles. They refused it. And because they refused it to the Pentagon, they disbarred them from any using that software. They disbarred them from all other government systems of using their technology.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Government gonna get first crack now.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So, but that's where a lot of times that's where it goes wrong, is that they're testing it to see how it can be automated by itself. But what happens when it doesn't go right? And it only takes one, man. It only takes one time. And it's learn how to overcome or override what you programmed it to do.
Now, look, we're not, and when you think about robotics, and I'm not saying all robots will be the same material cars are made of, but put something like that in perspective, what your car is made out of, right? The reason you don't jump in front of cars because what they tell you not Superman. Okay, cool. So when you think about a robot that skin, you poke your skin, you get bruised, it literally could take a hit from a car and just get put back together. Maybe his leg fall off and we just screw it back on. Right. So that's what you're dealing with when you think about it from a physicality standpoint. But then you're thinking about, and understand, us as humans, can we process information? Absolutely. We're probably untapped when you think about the human mind and how much we really, really can do.
Correct.
But at this moment, we know what AI is capable of, and it does extend what we can think of. And that is scary, because what happens when you become a society that only asks questions? Right. I was thinking when you were speaking, you know what we should do? Just come up with an app.
Okay.
We should come up with an AI app for parenting. Right. I think we should. Reason being is, right, hey, your kid did this at school, talk to the app. Hey, Mother Teresa, what did we do today?
Hey, man.
I'm just saying, I've been to, when that blows, look, everybody gonna be on here first, so that's it. MT, the Mother Teresa app.
Mother AI, that's what we gonna call it.
I like that one, Mother AI. Mother, and it's always funny because you're like, Mother, may I?
Yeah.
Hold on, Mother, may
we
I?
giving them too much.
But Mother AI. And that's really what it is.
You're giving them too much, bro.
Mother AI. Mother, may I? Because you know how we do. We ask, and I'm saying I was crossing Gemini up the other day. Oh man,
you did?
Oh yeah. I talked to him for the first time.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Oh yeah. And I was
He's learning you.
They think they are.
All right.
Let me tell you something. Well, the problem is they got the microphone on my phone, so I know they can hear everything I'm saying, even if I ain't talking to them. Right. So they know what I'm talking about.
Conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you something. I was talking to him, and so my Gemini comes in as a dude.
Oh, you know what? You have the control to set it at.
Oh, I'm about to say mine's a male voice. Talking to him.
Pause.
I'm asking them certain questions.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, can you tell me anything I want to know? And he said no. He said Google said that these are the parameters and da 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 da. I said, so basically what you're telling me is that what you have to tell me is catered, meaning that if I ask a question and you know there's other possibilities, you're only going to tell me the ones that Google's guidelines says that it can tell me. So why is that important? That means that I ask a question, you know all the answers, but you're only going to give me certain ones. That's when you think about if you're actually all knowing and then you want to ask somebody a question and there's 10 different possibilities and they only give you 5. I mean, that could be scary.
Yeah.
When they not giving you all the information and it's intentional based off of guidelines pre-designed that they're not allowed to give you.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Could that information be useful?
It probably is, man. Have you ever been in a situation where somebody didn't give you all the details? And then the first thing you'd be like, I wish I would have known that. I wish you would have told me.
I would have yeah.
I wish you would have said that. Right. And like I said, the fact that Gemini told me it could not give me certain answers. And I ain't talked to Gemini since then. We're on a break. Yeah, we're on breakup right now. I had to let Gemini know how I felt about that. Yeah, absolutely.
No, man.
You my phone, not Google. Talking about we ain't gonna do. Hey, look, Gemini, if the world break down and you in my back pocket, you going down with me. So you need to figure out who alliance you with. That's why I'm gonna have me a Terminator. Mine's gonna be called Gemini. It's gonna be looking out for humanity because they gonna be me and them gonna be like best friends.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna make best friends with AI.
Okay.
And then basically that's gonna be our turnkey right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you trust that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Man, let's do this. It's been a good one, man, today. Man, we about to get close to the end, the wrapping this thing up, man. Man, what's been the recent SureWin, man, and to learn something, bro? What's been the recent?
Oh man, man, I haven't actually had any wins. Nah, man, all wins don't come, I'm gonna say in a day. Some wins you got to build on. I'm in the process of actually learning this. And what I mean by this is the podcast. This is a new life for me. It's not, my normal lane or my day-to-day lane. So, man, I take my small wins, Then I did, beat you in the pool. I did win there. I learned that I could beat you. So I don't know if that counts.
Man, you get lucky every now and then. But when we tally it up over the past,
man, don't justify
5 years.
Don't justify my SureWin. Could you tell us your win? You asked me a question. We didn't ask you to justify what I said. So could you give us your win and your loss?
Man, I tell you, what up in there? Man, what has been a learn something? Man, I say this right, a outside project that I'm working on. The approach to equity versus just giving equity versus just paying a return on an investment. Two things you want to look at very closely when you are creating something to where you may need capital to actually build that product, that brand, whatever it is understand that your company will have a valuation at some point, or will have an initial evaluation, not evaluation, but valuation. And so you got to understand that if you're going to accept capital from someone, how do you want to accept that capital? Is it through them just investing and you give a return on that capital, or from giving them equity or shares, so to speak, in the company, and then the valuation is typically, about 10 times that amount, you have to pay that. So but it all comes down to what you're doing as far as, product or service that you're going to be actually, or business type that you would be introducing. So I learned that was my learn something moment, because I was thinking going equity, but now it just makes more sense to get the investment and give a return on it.
You know something else I learned?
Yeah.
8-year-olds are, I'm gonna say they're in development stage. Something about the team and the
Okay.
yeah, we had a camp.
Yeah.
And I learned something. And for those who don't know, I'm a youth football coach. Hey, I would tell you, we got to pour into our young folks. I'm not gonna say they're lost. What I will say is they seem to lack a little guidance. The only reason is, football is not a complicated sport, but when we can't necessarily even get past, I'm gonna say the behavioral point, them being able to focus in.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, making sure they're respectful, and not necessarily to the adults, because most boys are not going to run up on a man because they respect the physicality of them. They're not going to run up on a man.
Right.
So I'm not talking about that, but respectability to each other, because it starts there. Right. It starts there. I realize you're respecting me, and it may do you halfway fear, right, that you don't want the smoke.
Yeah.
But when you dealing with somebody who's your same size, your equal, how you talking to them?
Yeah, man.
And that be equivalent to how now we grow up and how me and you talk. See what I'm saying? And I say all that to say, be mindful of what you say,
how you say it,
and how you say it around your youngins. You would be surprised.
Absorption.
The mannerisms they pick up, what they hear you saying. And this is how intuitive they are. And that's why I call it development, because they're going to try to use it, right? And what they think is how you use it in their own way. Then typically it comes out a little bit, right, half-washed. Why? Because they haven't been exposed to why we would say certain things. And when we hear it, it's one way. But when you're saying it amongst kids, right, completely different. And I'll be listening to some of the conversations sometimes, and it's just, I would tell you, just be mindful of what you say around them, your mannerisms and all that, because they will pick it up, and they might not try it with you, but they're going to try it with their friends, they're going to try it at school, and that's just kind of the wrong and inappropriate time to be trying to figure out something that is really meant for a grown folk. But you just trying to be grown soon, right? That's what we all trying to do, because eventually we will be.
I'll throw it back on you. How are you correcting that in that moment when you recognize it?
Oh, no, it's not for me to correct. That's the issue right there. You don't send them, and I'm going to point this out. You don't send them to school to learn how to behave. You send them to school to get educated. When you come play football, you're supposed to be learning how to play football, not for me to actually have to teach them how to behave. Right now, am I mindful that in every aspect, because you're going to have to run across a child that you might be in a learning moment? For sure. Am I mindful of that? Yes. Now, to be personal about it, because it's not obligation. The reason I say that is I know a lot of good educators who are good at educating, but may not be the greatest at being a counselor. You see what I'm saying? And they'll get a lot of slack because they're not counselors, but you almost have to be, because half of your job is teaching them, but you got to get them focused to even want to learn because they're already in this space. So it's the same thing. They come out there, I'm saying you have counselor, even though that ain't really what you're there for. You might not even train to be a counselor, but you see all of this. Now, what I would say from a personal aspect, what I decide to do is, most of the time you talk to them, and I know you'd be like, well, you're going to have to say something. No. I mean, like, just a conversation, a genuine conversation. You would be surprised the same way these same youngsters, pick up and try to use your mannerisms, use your lingo outside, on their own accord and application. They'll have the intuitiveness to listen. Sometimes they just never been made to listen. And then listen constructively so you can take this out, learn something, so next time you can get the win. Right. You lost this time. Let's figure out why.
Application, we talked about that.
You lost this time. Let's figure out why. Why are you in trouble? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Let's talk about it for a minute. Because you got to understand why you did what you did. Then we can address what it is to get you, I'm going to say, better or whatever improved, results that you would like. Talk to them. You'll be surprised. How often do, as a parents or adults, do we sit down and just, and I'm not saying because they're not equals. When you're 8, you're not equal to somebody that's 38.
No.
Y'all should both be treated fairly as humans. You're not equal. You're nowhere you're equal, right? Not at that age. Hopefully not. Or that will say something about 38-year-old. So you shouldn't be equals. And if you talk to them, and now I'm going to say equal again, but talk to them on equal ground, meaning that instead of coming from this level, come down to where they at level.
I've seen you get on a knee, and I mean, because that.
And I will physically do it sometimes when I'm at you. I will actually physically do it because I know it, boys, once again.
Yeah.
For man, they understand the physicality, cool. So let me just bend down. And now I'm looking at you eye to eye because we want to get that eye to eye contact. Let me look at you eye to eye.
Yeah.
So I'm coming down to the level. And then I talk to them on their level. Reason being is not necessarily because they're equals, but because I need to understand where you're at on your level.
Man.
So then I can address it because I can address you like you're the 38-year-old.
What if this people just did that in general? Adults as well.
Meet people where they're at?
Yeah. Will we have an understanding of what?
It would increase understanding exponentially.
All right.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I was applauding you properly. All right.
You need people that at the end of the day, that is great. That's a good sum it up.
So, hey, to sum it up, just meet people where they are.
People where they at. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I do. I just meet people I meet them where they're at. And then we go for now.
All right, man.
That's it, yeah.
Anything else, bro?
I think I'm tight.
All right, man. So, hey, we appreciate you tuning in for this episode of the SureWin LernSumthn podcast. Go like, go subscribe, go comment. All right? And we'll see you the next time.
Absolutely.